Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully complete our footer portion for the mobile, right? So now friend, in this video I want to work for our this logging page. Let's do that work. For doing this I want to do, if you go to our project right now, I close everything. Okay, I close everything from to this position. So that is our home page, and then first of all we have to create one of the page for this, and also we have to create another component. So now I'm going to create one of the first of all page, that is our mother component. I create another new file and I name it as a user, okay, user logging page. So that will be the user logging page.jsx, and then our procedure will be same. I want to create another class based component, so that is our class based component. Then I want to load one of the fragment. I'll simply load it, I remove it, and here I load that fragment. There is a fragment, right? I will load that fragment, and then rest of this will be same. If you go to our home page, into the home page, from to this position I take everything. Okay, I copy total, there is a fragment, I copy total fragment, and now in our user logging, into the user logging, here I paste it. So here some of the things will be not needed, like as a top, there's a home top that will be not needed. As a home top mobile, that will be also not needed. Okay, so now I remove it, and for the desktop I simply loaded our one component. So that is our one component as a nab menu desktop. Okay, so that will be a nab menu desktop will be visible. And also for the mobile, I don't need this home top mobile, I remove this. That will be as a only the nab menu mobile, which is totally fine. The feature product, we don't need these. The new variable, we don't need these. The category, don't need this. And here we will actually create another component. I will load this component in here. Perfect. And then the desktop and the mobile will be enough. Okay, so that will be enough. So also now we have to load this all that component, right? So in our home page, better I want to do, I take everything. Okay, I take everything, I copy it, and then here I paste it. So you can see this part is not available. So for the reasons here we don't need this, I want to do and to remove everything from to this position. So that is which is highlighted, then that means that is actually executed. So now our nab desktop is here. There is a nab mobile. There is a nab mobile is also here, and desktop mobile, and then footer desktop. Footer desktop is also available, and then footer mobile is also available. It's imported component from our common, and then the footer mobile, right? Perfect. So now friend, I want to create another child component in our home page. So that is in our common page, right? So because logging will be common for the every pages. For the reasons in our common page, there is a common folder. I want to create another component. I name it as a user, okay, user logging .jsx. So this type of one of the component I simply created. Then I created one of the class based component with the RCE. Great. And then I want to change it. I want to make it as a fragment. So there is a fragment. I simply loaded this fragment, right? So now this component, that means this user logging, I want to load it in our user logging mother component as a pages. So here after this, okay, after this, that means first of all it should be load our menu, and then it should be load our this logging, user logging, and then it should be load our footer. Perfect. So now I want to take it. I want to take it in here. I load that as a user logging. You can see there is a user logging component. I simply loaded this user logging component, and then I close it. So now it should be imported our user logging. You can see it's imported that user logging from all the components, then common, and then our user logging. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. Now if you want to access this user logging, then what exactly you have to do? Simple work, go to that our router. So into the route area, I have already created one of the route as an app route. So now we have to create another route for this. So before I have already created one for the home, right? So that will be as a route exec, and then two will be for the link, not that for the route. So when you use that route, that will be actually the path, okay, not the two. I make it as a path, and path will be our home, and for the home that will be redirected to our home page component. So I have already loaded that home page, which is totally fine. Now better I copy it, and then I want to take another one. Exact path will be as a slash logging. Okay, that will be as a slash logging, and for this slash logging our component will be loaded. Which one? That will be loaded our this page, right? That is our parent component as a I have created as a user logging page. Now I'm going to logging use it. that will be as a user. You can see there is a user logging that will be comes from the src pages and the user logging page. Now I want to import it, so it's imported that user logging page. Perfect. So now I want to use this path, that means our route. I want to use it in our this position, so that is in our desktop. If you go to our common, into the common, there is a nav menu desktop, right? So into the nav menu desktop, I have already uses one of the locking. You can see there is a locking, and I have also load our link. So link will be to as a slash logging. Okay, so now when it should be go to that slash logging, then our this component will be executed. Now I click as a save all, which is totally fine. And now if you go to your page, now click as a refresh. So now if you go to that logging, yes, you can see without loading that page, our header and then footer is visible. I hope you understand that part. So that is our slash logging. When it should be as a slash logging, into the slash logging area, I simply loaded our component as a user logging page. So that is a pages and user logging page. You can see our nav menu desktop is visible, and then our user logging, I didn't actually added anything for the reasons it's now become empty. And after that that is our footer. Okay, so that is our footer, the footer desktop, and then our footer desktop is visible. Perfect. So now friend, I want to design our this part. So right now here we don't need this, I remove it. Also router will be not needed. The desktop menu, we don't need this, and the user logging. So now we have to design our this user logging page. First of all, our procedure will be same. I'm to load that on the container, and here I'm to load on the row. So row, and then I take on the column. Okay, I take on the column, and also now it's inputted our container, and then we have to also load that row and then the column. I loaded everything that will be comes from our React Bootstrap. I think at that point it's very much easy to you right now. So that is our total fragment. Okay friend, in our first column, so into the first column I want to set up it for the medium skin. So that will be as a 12. I want to take one grid, that means one will be visible. For the large skin, I also want to make it as a 12. So that will be as a 12, and also for the small, I want to make it as a 12. And also for the X, okay, XS, that means the extra small. For the extra small, that will be also as a 12. Perfect. And here into this column, I want to take another one. I want to take another row. Okay, so I take another row, because that will be as a first one, and here I want to divide it by with the 2, then that will be better. I want to take another row, and then I want to take another column. And now I want to distinguish with another column 6 by 6. Here I want to take another MD, that means MD for the medium. I want to make it as a 6 by 6 grid as a 2, and then for the large, I want to make it as a same as a 6, and for the small, that will be as a 12. One grid I want to take it, and also for the XS, for the extra small, I want to make it as a 12. Okay, so here I want to take it as a 2 part. That will be as a 2, so better I copy it. Okay, I copy it, and then after that I want to paste it. Okay, so that will be our another column. So this column will be as a 6, 6, 12, 12, which is totally fine. And for this, that will be actually one of the images I want to load it in here, so better I make it as a 6, 6, or 6 for every sizes. That will be as a 6. Okay, small sizes. And for the mobile view, I have to also think about that mobile view. So for the mobile, I want to make it as a 6 by 6. Perfect. So now in this column, okay, into this column, I want to first of all design it. So design actually it takes little time. So first of all, here I want to load on the form. Okay, I load on the form. I loaded that form, which is totally fine, but I make it a little bit here. Okay, I make it a little bit here. There is a form. So into the form area, I want to use some of the class. So there's a class name. I want to use it as a, I name it as a onboard. Okay, onboard form. So that will be as an onboard form. better I want to do, first of all I want to create some of the CSS for our make this design, then that will be actually helpful. Okay. Better I want to pause that video here. I want to I have already created an CSS or not. Here I want to create another CSS as a onboard or logging, whatever you choose. So I make it as a onboard. Okay, board onboard.css. I loaded this CSS. Now we have to also load this CSS in our custom. Here we have to import it. I import this as a onboard CSS, right? So that will be as a onboard CSS. Okay, I load this input here, which is totally fine. Now I want to create some of the CSS in here. So friend, here I have created some of the CSS. So like this simple two of this CSS, I copy it and now I paste it. So there is an onboard banner and the onboard form. So onboard form I have already loaded. That is one of the class as an onboard form. Okay, so into this onboard form I want to use one of the h4 tag. So there is a h4 tag. I want to make it a little bit fast because that is very basic, all that code actually. So I make it on the class name will be, I want to do, if you go to, I've already created that things maybe in our typography. The type, you can see there is a section title. I want to use this section title. I copy it. I want to use that section title, and here I want to use it as a user sign in. Okay, that will be the user sign in. And after that I take another one. I take another as a h6. Okay, that will be the h6. And here I also want to use another class name. I want to use it. I want to use it another class name as a section subtitle. I have already created that typo. So now that is our section subtitle. So in this class area it will be displayed as please enter your mobile number. Okay, so this type of on the name I want to use as a number. Perfect. So that will be display mobile, and here I want to, after that I want to use one of the input field. That will be as input. I use that as the input, and input will be, I want to do here, I want to use another class name, and class name I want to use as a form and then control. Okay, form control, I want to put some of the margin as a margin 2. Then it will be get some of the spaces, and our type will be obviously one of the text type. I make it as a text type. You can also use that as a number type. And after that I want to use another placeholder. That will be as a placeholder. I want to do, it will be display as a mobile enter mobile number. Okay, enter mobile number. So that will be our placeholder. And after that I want to take another button. So that will be as a button. Okay, I loaded this button, and also this button, actually you can see this button actually comes from the Bootstrap. So I don't want to use that Bootstrap. Here it should be come from our React Bootstrap. So after that form I want to use that as a bottom. You can see I have already loaded that form, so automatically it's added. If the form in our, this will be comes from our React Bootstrap, which is totally fine. So now there is a button. So in the button area I want to use one of the class name. Okay, class name. So class name I want to use as a btn block. btn block, and I want to use another margin as a 2, and that will be one of the next procedure. Okay, so that is a next. I use it as a next button. Perfect. Now first of all I want to check it. Click as a save all. Okay, I click as a save all, and now if you go, now refresh it, so there is a /logging. You can see is now successfully loaded in here, which is fine. That is our header part, that means header navigation, the footer part, and into the center area I have loaded our this one, right? I have loaded our this logging, user logging. I have already set up it in here. You can see there is our nav desktop, there is a user logging, and then the footer desktop. Great. So as I told you friend, design actually needs some time. Better I want to customize it like here, and there is the row position. So okay, into the row area I want to take another class name, class name. I want to use it. I want to use it as a padding. I make it as some of the padding as a 2. Okay, padding 2. And then in our column, okay, into this column area I want to add some of the things as a class name. Okay, class name here I want to use it as a shadow as a SM. Okay, shadow SM, and BZ I make it as a white, WHITE, right? The BZ white. Now also I put some of the margin top I make it as a 2. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all, and now go there, click as a refresh. You can see it's now perfectly getting some of the shadow in our this box area. And also here I want to do that is our row, right? So there is another row, and this row I want to make another class name with the text center. The class name, and class name will be as a text center. Okay, I make it as a text center, and here in our this column, into this column I want to use it another class name. Class name I want to use it as a dflags. Okay, I make it as another class as a dflags, and justify. Okay, justify I want to make it as a into the center position. That is another class as a content center. Okay, I make it as a justify content center. So now that will be into the content center position. And then form I make it as a onboard form. So that is our onboard form, right? So that is onboard form, which is totally fine. Okay, which is totally fine. And then the user placeholder, everything is great. Now refresh it. You can see now that is into the center position. There is a user sign in, and please enter your mobile number. There is a input field, and there is a placeholder. This button I want to make it as a full wide. If you want to make it better, I want to add another class. If you go to our button, into the button classes here, maybe I use that side button, right? Side button, but I copy it. Okay, copy it, and after this I want to paste it. Want to create another class as a side button logging. So this logging will be same font wide. I make it as a 300. Padding I make it as a 5, which is totally fine. Everything is great. Only I want to do I want to make it as a wide. Okay, after this I want to make it as a wide. I want to make it as a 100%. Okay, I want to use it as a 100%. Now I want to use this class. I copy it. Now in our user logging here, after this I want to use this another class as a side btn. Now click as a save all. So now that should be updated. Now click as a refresh. Perfect. You can see it's now perfectly updated. Our button, there is a full 100%, and also there is some of the color. You can see there is our background color as this one, text color as a white. Okay, great. Perfect. So now there is another part here I want to use one of the image. That will be the image. Okay, I want to close that image, and here then that will be the src, and to the src area I want to load one of the image. So first of all, if you want to load this image, we have to take it, right? I want to take one of the image. If you go to your exercise file, I have already created on the image as a logging.png. This image I want to load it in here. I copy it. Now go to our project, into the project here I paste it. So there is a logging png. So first of all, here if you want to take it, we have to import it, right? That is will be import. I name it as a logging. Okay, logging that will be comes from our which place. First of all, here we have to go outside from 1. There is a 2, and then that should be as a asset. Into the asset there is the images. Okay, there is images, and then I'll name it as a logging.png. Okay, it's png. So I name it with the logging. So now I'm going to display this logging here. Now click as a save all. Now that should be displayed in here. Now click as a refresh. Perfect. Okay, here I have already created another class. In our onboard, I have created another class as an onboard banner. Now I'm going to load this CSS class. Okay, after that, there is the images class name class name, I want to use this class name as an onboard. Okay, and for this column I also want to use it as a class name will be as a, I want to use the padding will be as a 0. Okay, and also margin I make it as a 0. And here also one things, like for the mobile view I don't want to display these images, only this locking will be visible. So if you want to do that work, I have already declared one of the class as a desktop. Remember, you can see there is a desktop. So when it will be as a desktop, then that will be actually not visible. So here I want to use it as a this desktop class. So I want to load this desktop here. Okay, I also want to use it here. There is another class. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all, go there, click as a refresh. Yeah, now you can see it's now loaded, right? It's now loaded, but here I want to actually change the background color or body background color. If you want to change it, I have already created one of the CSS. There is a common.css. Okay, so now I want to take it. If you go to here, there is a CSS. Here I didn't create any common, right? I want to create another CSS as a common.css. So there is a common.css. I want to take everything from here. So that is actually some of the background I want to use. Okay, background color, I copy it and then here I paste it. And now I want to load it. I load it in our custom. There is a custom. I want to take it and then that will be as a common. Okay, so that will be as a common.css. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh. Yes, you can see now that is better. So now that is our total side background. Okay, so that is our total side background. If you go to that home page, yes, you can see into the home page that is also updated. Okay, that is also updated. Perfect. So there is a total side background and there is a logging page. Without loading that page, our this component is loaded and there is a user sign in and then another text as a please enter your mobile number, right? So if you want to change that, you can also change it better if you go to our user logging. So as I told you, different design actually depends on you. There is a section title. I make it as a logging. Okay, logging. For the section title logging, I have created in our button. Not that button, that is in our typo. Maybe if you go to our typo CSS, there is a section title, you can see. But I copy it and then I want to take another one. So that will be, I name it as a section title logging. Okay, I copy it. Now that will be as a section title logging. And here I want to make it as a margin top 50, which is totally fine. Margin bottom, I don't want to use that margin bottom. I make it as a 10. Okay, 10. And color will be this. Font size I want to make it as a 20 to 30. And font wide I make it as a 600. Now that should be great. Now click as a save all. And now refresh it. You can see there is a user sign in. Please enter your mobile number. There is a enter your mobile number. Okay, so I simply loaded this part. And also if you check that mobile view, you can see for the mobile view our image is not visible. As I told you before, here I have already done this part. If you go, you can see that I have used the desktop. So with this desktop class, automatically now it's getting it. So when it will be as a desktop, then it will be not display. For the reasons here, you can see when it will be as a mobile view, into the mobile view, our this image is not visible. So only our this text and our footer is also updated. Perfect. So friend, we successfully complete our this logging page. We successfully complete the design portion. So here I want to do when you put your only the mobile number. So and then if you click the next, then that will be send one of the OTP to your mobile number, and then we have to use this OTP number. Then you can able to successfully logging. So this step of one of the authentication I want to develop. So next video, like there is our about page, the contact page, some of the page very easy. Some of the page I want to do and to create it. So better first of all I want to create all that our this component. In our next video I will create this contact component. Okay, so how can do that work? In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.